What's up, everybody? This is Heroic Brutality. I'm bringing you a NASCAR video today, and I am just checking in with my rivals. Slowly starting to work some of them off. Newman, I have absolutely no idea what I've ever done to piss him off. Michael McDowell, Timmy Hill, Hamlin, Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth. Don't know whatever I did to Stenhouse. I don't know whatever I done to Logano, Keselowski. I never make contact with them. Now Harvick I have on a couple of times. Kyle, I've never done anything to him. And Larson, I can understand why he's pissed off at me. Because I always, it just seems like every race, and Allmendinger, I don't know whatever I've done to him. At one point, he was a rival all the way up there too, and I think Dale Earnhardt Jr. was too. Now I got his back down to friendly, and I'm surprised Truex and Suarez aren't, torqued at me, because I've had incidents with both of them, and same thing with Danica. Matter of fact, there's been several times where I've straight up tried to wreck Dale Jr. and Danica. But that's not really why I wanted to make this video. I want to make my own NASCAR wish list. I made one before, didn't like it. Turned out entirely too long, and it was just kind of all over the place. So excuse me, I want to try to better to make this here video. For starters, I would love to see an improved graphic engine. There are much more realistic racing games out there, and I think, with what you're seeing along in the background, I think if they would try to implement a better engine, I don't know how video games are all made, but I mean, the capability is there, and I'm sure 704 has made quite a bit of money off of this game and NASCAR Heat Evolution, that I think they could slowly start implementing the engine, in the looks that, games like Forza, I'm sure they could, I guess Forza had a NASCAR. I never played it. I don't own an Xbox. I'm thinking Forza's for Xbox only. But I've seen gameplay of it, and those games look amazing, because I have a nephew that he has it, and I've seen it from him, I believe, and I mean, they're out there. I mean, the NASCAR EA games are a decade old now, and these games don't look much better. So I'd like to see the graphics improved a little bit, and I think that would improve your damage engines, I think. AI, I like to see the AI improved. The rival system, I would like to really see that improved, because like I was saying, like Allmendinger, Kyle Busch, Harvick, Keselowski, Logano, Stenhouse, Kenseth, I don't know what I did to these guys. I done nothing. I give them the position if they're like right on my ass and kind of bump into me. I don't know if that, that bump, they get mad at me and it goes up. I don't really know how this here rival system works, but I let them go. And in a few laps, I'll pass them all over again. But I would really like to see this tweaked to where you can kind of get rid of this a little bit better. I would like to see post-race altercations in the career mode, and that goes into the deeper career mode. I'd like to see more series. I'd like to see it where you start out as a kid and you're racing go-karts, and there's like 4 or 5 different go-kart tracks you race at, maybe a couple of ovals, couple of road courses, and you're racing against like 5 or 6 other people, and just racing a little bit, something kids would do, just to implant that, okay, he started off as a kid, now we're going to tell his story, kind of thing. I mean, it doesn't have to be a story, and God forbid there ever being a story. I would hate that. I don't want no story-based game, for God's sake. EA, no. Even though they've done it with the latest football game, please, 704 Games, do not ever implement a story mode into these racing games, because I swear to God, it would be Talladega Nights, or frickin' that dumbass Days of Thunder. That was such an awful movie, but whatever. With the deeper career mode, the more series, where you start out as a kid, you race in go-karts for 2 or 3 seasons. You can get through the go-kart races really fast, and just where it's like you're getting the ability, and then you start racing in like dirt cars, and you do that for a while, and then you start racing in modifieds, and then K&N, and then you move up into the trucks, the Xfinity, then the Cup, which is the ultimate goal. And during that career mode, like I said, I'd like to see a lot of little things introduced or reintroduced. I'd like to see post-race altercations come in, where maybe you felt like, I'd like to see the AI get rough with you, because for the most part, the AI doesn't really mess with you that much. But sometimes they will. Sometimes they'll hit you. But I would like to see sometimes, like, where you notice maybe rivalries start forming. Like, have like a driver relationship thing like this, and then most frequently interacted with drivers, positive, and then, negative, or like the ally and rival system. And then it can come to a head where you can confront them, or you can apologize to them and try to quell the situation, like this David Reagan incident. Maybe you can, that DJ Kennington, David Reagan, maybe even Newman, McDowell, Hill, Hamlin. If it's like on 2 stars, maybe you can text them, and depends on the driver's attitude, whether they feel, however you want to do it. It could get rid of it altogether. Or maybe you want to talk to them face to face. Sometimes they'll talk to you, sometimes they won't. And have a little, thing where you can choose, and it doesn't have to be a whole lot of voiceovers or anything like that. It doesn't have to be anything like that. It can be just like even text, like a point and click kind of thing. Even something like that would be really funny. But it could be done that way, or it could be like a text-based thing. But I'd like to see post-race altercations come into the game. I think we all know what I'm trying to get at. Whether you could talk to them, and it could go well, and the rivalry could slowly decrease, or it could really amp it up, or it does nothing. Or you could really go after each other. Now, I'm not promoting having full-on fights, but I think you could get a thing where you could get your pit crew and their pit crew, and the officials and everybody just kind of chirping at one another, just kind of shaking their finger, and the officials are holding the drivers back. It would be funnier than anything. No fights, just a cruise. Everybody's just, blah, 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 just doing one of those numbers. I think there'd be a lot of fans that would really get a kick out of that. I'd definitely be one of them. And I think it could keep its E rating, because EA Sports had a post-race altercation little feature in there, and it was just the drivers yelling at one another. It was freaking funny, and I think it'd be a lot better on here, so I'd like to see that. And I would like to have the ability, because on here we can no wonder shit was so easy. I had it on normal. Who the hell? I don't remember putting it on normal. I was wondering why I was kicking so much ass. I usually play on hard or legend or whatever. But on here we can adjust this. Hence, we can even adjust the single stage racing, where it's just from start to finish with no stages, or we can do the 3 stages. We can do the quick qualifying, where it's just us. All of that. We can do all of that. Or we can do the round qualifying. This is how I prefer to do it. What the fuck? No wonder shit was not doing. I don't remember changing this shit. Maybe I don't know. But anyway, that really got, where was I? Oh, yeah. We can, everything kept. We can, now I'm really lost. We can alter this, change it to single stage, 3 stages. I would like the ability to be, please give me this. I would love the ability to turn off the playoff system. All it's doing is just shutting off the playoffs. Okay? I don't see NASCAR having any problem with this. I don't think, if they did, then if NASCAR had a problem with it, then they would not let them, or, altering how NASCAR runs their races. They would make you race the 3 stages. They would make you race the knockout qualifying, or what's it called? Isn't that what it's called? Isn't that what they call it? Or is that something else? The qualifying, where the stage qualifying, or whatever the hell it is. I think if NASCAR really had a problem with it, they would make you run that. They would make you race the authentic way. We can adjust this. Let us turn off the playoffs, please. I hate the fucking playoffs. I hate the chase. I've hated it since 2004. I hate it today. Okay? Please, NASCAR Heat 704, let us turn that shit off. Please. It would be, they can make the shittiest NASCAR game ever. And as long as they would freaking allow you to turn that shit off, oh my god, it would put that game on a 5-star level for me. Okay. So we got that. And with the career mode, you can choose to race for other teams. You garner enough money and throughout your career, because on here you just notice I have 30 million. What am I doing with it? If it's not meant for anything, why do I make it? On NASCAR Heat Evolution, we could build our team. Okay, you raced and you had something to continue racing for. All right, there was some replayability for it here. I've won a championship in all 3 series. I really don't need to continue racing in this career, but I'm going to, because I'm trying to get all the trophies in the game. But I would like an owner mode, and in this owner mode, I think it would add an element of replayability that I think would be unique to almost everyone. So it would be highly replayable. You would build your shop, okay? Over time, your shop would deteriorate. You would have to keep upkeep on it. You would have to upgrade your shop to get, better equipment. You'd have to hire your crew. You'd have to build your cars, rebuild your cars. You'd have to go after sponsors. You'd have to have a marketing team. You would have to have all of this. You'd have to maintain your funds. You'd have to maintain the shop, like I just said, salaries. You'd have to pay for utilities, research and development, rebuilding cars after they were crashed. You would have to buy supplies for the office or the shop. Additions. You'd have to buy tires. You'd have to buy fuel. You'd have to buy multiple haulers. You'd have to buy fuel for your haulers. If you bought a plane for faster, whatever. You have to buy your planes, your fuel for your planes. I think that would add a lot of replayability. There would be so much. And it would be unique for everyone. And like maybe your team started struggling, or maybe your sponsors pulled out, and you were slowly starting to sink in the hole because you couldn't attract a sponsor immediately, because maybe your drivers just aren't up to snuff, or maybe you have the game on sitting there on hard for like the most realistic experience, and you're just not doing that well, and you slowly start sinking into the hole. Because I played an NHRA game one time, and they had a very similar career mode to that, where your team could go bankrupt and it just end your season no matter how good or bad you were even doing. Something happened. I was like the point leader, and the team ended up shutting down, despite the fact that I had multiple wins. For whatever reason, the team ended up shutting down. It was crazy. And as our owner, we would have, car customization abilities. Just let us paint the cars up. Let us paint a bunch of them up to make them look like that's our team. Those are our cars. I'm not saying bring back a 2006 Total Team Control feature, but because I'm sure EA Sports would probably get pissy on that one. But it would be a cool thing to be able to watch a race and maybe not necessarily jump in the car, but maybe jump to that car's camera or whatever and just kind of watch them. I don't know. Maybe not. That'd be kind of dumb. But speaking of cameras, we all know that we got 3 cameras. We got the roof cam, we got the inside cam, and we got at the back of the car. I would like to see an elevated view of the car, slightly like down, like you're probably about 15 feet up, kind of like they used to have on the older games, where you got the track, you can see behind you a little bit. I'd like to see that view come back. I think a lot of people know what I'm talking about. It's elevated up above the car. You're quite a ways behind it. Not this bullshit where you're sitting right there and all you damn near see is just the back of it. I hate that fucking view. That view is so awful. That's why I can't watch a lot of guys' playthrough on here, because a lot of them use that view. I can't. That view, like, literally just it bugs me. I'm wanting to scream at the screen every time I even just look at that view. I hate it. I mean, and I like to have that view back where it's just elevated. And there's the hood view where it's like literally sitting on top of the hood. Then there's the roof cam. Then there's the bumper cam. And then there's like the point of view, and I'm thinking there was one where there was like a cockpit view where you can see the driver in the car. I'm thinking there was one like that, or maybe that was some other racing game that they had that on. Maybe it was like an F1 game. I really can't remember, but there was a game that had that. I would love to see those views, especially that elevated view, because that was like the most like stable view you ever had in them games. I just wish they'd bring it back. And like I said, just that ability. If we could turn off the playoffs, please. I would love that. I'm not saying all of these could be implemented in one game. The owner mode has already been done in Evolution. They know how to do it. Now all they got to do is figure out a way to allow us to have own multiple cars across multiple different series, and where we have to just make it where our money that we earn throughout our career is relevant. And last but definitely not least, they finally put them in the game, and it wasn't even at launch. These bad boys. Stats. My God. Stats. Now this is one good screen right here. This was good. Okay, it has our total career stats, what we've done across all three series. What we've done in the Truck, Xfinity, and Cup. Now what they also need to do would be to have it to where we could like take our remote and like use our D-pad or our left analog stick and highlight a series and be able to look at our career stats, by season in that particular series. And they could even take off at the year the game was released. And it'd be just things like that. And just look at what we've done throughout our whole career in each particular series, and where we could go. Obviously, if we got enough money, we can obviously buy a car in that series and jump straight to it, or go back to it, own some cars, build another car for that series, and maybe just race one-off races. Or like I've, heard other people say, you can leech on that series at some of their bigger events. I think that'd be really fun. But this has just been my wish list, and I know all of this some of these won't ever be implemented, but it'd be nice if they could be. The only thing I ask is I would love to see the owner mode, the deeper career mode. And with deeper career mode, like I'm going to mention earlier, I'd love to see the ability to retire drivers. I know I've seen this happen on other people's wish list videos, drivers retire and custom drivers take over the car, blah, blah, blah. Like, I can't stand him, but currently in this series, I drive for Hendrick Motorsports. If you really know a whole lot about it, you'll notice a particular driver there missing. That's right, Jimmy Johnson. I took over the car just because I wanted to get rid of him. Now, the car still looks like his. It even still has friggin' Johnson on the back of the window on the back. But it would be cool if when the driver retires, that particular car would go away, but a customized version of, the 48 car. Or who's a driver looking to retire soon? I don't know, maybe Harvick. He's getting up there in age. A customized 4 car. Or Newman, a customized 31 car. Excuse me. Or maybe the car disappear altogether. Just so that license isn't infringed upon, I guess you could say. But it'd be awesome if they would do that, just to keep fresh faces and things like that. But I think it'd be really cool. But yes, I'd like to see the career mode, the owner mode, and the ability to turn off the playoffs. Please let us do this. It's my number 1. So this has been Heroic Brutality, and I'll see you in the next one.